Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 with some more multiplayer racing for you. For this session, we are racing B-Class rear-wheel drive cars, and they couldn't have an engine swap or they couldn't have a driveline swap, so you couldn't go make an all-wheel drive thing, rear-wheel drive, etc. I have gone for some big tyres, basically. That is my theory here. We have got a Holden. We have the Mangrove GTS stuff. I've forgotten all the letters that go with it. Because there's a lot of them. We've got a classic Holden, which is likely to be pretty good. It's not going to be the most powerful thing here, but it's got a decent chunk of power. It's got big rear tyres. It's got off-road race tyres, so we'll have traction on the dirt. We'll have, hopefully, some traction on the tarmac as well. And, yeah, it should be a good all-round car. That is the hope, at least. There's all sorts of vehicles in here. There's a classic 911 in front of us, 2000 GT, a Ferrari Dino. The MX-5 is the most modern of vehicles. We will see what might happen, what might transpire here. It's, yeah, quite the mix. And of course, some of these cars might be more focused towards tarmac racing. Some of them, like mine, might be more focused towards off-road racing. Everything is going to be two-wheel drive, of course, so nothing's going to have more traction on that front. We, by the looks of the class, we are going to potentially have, the vehicle selection, potentially have the biggest tyres when it comes to the off-road stuff, which is good. We're not going to be the lightest here, though. That could be our undoing compared to the likes of a Dino and a 2000 GT. They are going to be considerably lighter than we are. Top speed might struggle, potentially. I don't know. Certainly, apparently we've not got the top speed of an MX-5. Sure, that's reasons, I guess, going on. It looks like the MX-5 has got aero and still is faster than us down a straight. Cool. Can we go chase down a Porsche? That is a great. We've definitely got, I say that, although the MX-5 might not have very good tyres, depending on, yeah, it does not look like it's got the turning that we do, so that's, well, okay, we've got quite good turning. So off-road race tyres are not terrible on tarmac. They're not great, they're not terrible, and it's possible because in this class with these restrictions you might get some weird build choices, so to speak. You might go vintage race. You might go street tyres or sport tyres or something. I've gone for this because I know I want to be good off-road, and I hope that it's good on the tarmac as well. And, you know, if someone is on, for example, that MX-5 is on its stock tyres, for example, it probably can get a lot of power. Well, not a lot, but a decent chunk of power in B-Class. It'll come undone elsewhere, but, yeah, for B-Class, yeah, you'll get a decent chunk of acceleration out of it because it will be light. I mean, we've got so much grip here. This has become a very weird race where suddenly the Monaro is absolutely monstering a 911 and an MX-5 in the corners. We're phenomenally grippy through the turns. Sadly, we just can't match that Mazda for straight line speed. The Dino is coming with us at the moment. The Dino's got some straight line speed as well. I don't know what tyres the Ferrari is on. It's going to have a look to the inside, but I don't know whether it's going to have... Has it got the grip to make it work? Well, if it doesn't have the grip to make it work, it's going to end up murdering us. We're going to try and hold that the long way around. So the Dino isn't running aero. I'm running aero on this car, mostly because I needed to get the PI down. The aero gave us like 7 PI off it, so that's why I've gone for it. Do we out-handle the Dino is the question. Looks like we might do in the really twisty stuff. So that is good news for us. It means we have, in a field of small lightweight cars, the Monaro is the best handling. It certainly has the most grip in the technical section, but this track is not really a full handling circuit here, is it now? This is a lot more of a power track in some ways. Yes, that final sector there, it is good. It is very good to have some grip, and you can see all of our lap time is being made there, basically. But it's useful information to know going forward that when it comes to the twisty stuff, we'll be good. And I will be curious to see what tyres everyone is running on the kind of podium screen, because I don't I don't think the two cars ahead are going to be on off-road race. If they are, I'm impressed by the amount of power they've got into those vehicles. And judging by the way they corner, considering we are going to be... I mean, the Monaro is not a massively heavy car, but it's going to be nearly twice the weight of the Dino, essentially, because that's such a tiny light car. And if we're out-turning them, you know, the most logical conclusion is tyres. And the Ferrari's got some real pace here. I think the Ferrari's a little bit better balanced between handling and speed than the MX-5 on this track. Now, whether that will transpire everywhere, I don't know. But on this circuit, it does look like the Ferrari has got that little bit better balance between the two. Although neither of them look the easiest to drive, certainly through that final sector. Sadly, we are just too slow down the straights, which is a shame. But yeah, what can you do with this really at this juncture? There is a change of position behind us, I think. I'm not sure quite what it is. That is climbing its way up through the pack, but something is making a move fourth. Dino is closing in on that MX-5. We are being as brave as I dare through this final sector, but as much as we can close on the two ahead of us, ultimately there is nothing we can do. We are going to just have to sit and watch as we head towards the finish line, and we will settle for a third place. It's a podium. It's a good start. I'm happy enough with that. An MR2 that climbed its way up to fourth. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, my car didn't quite work at that track, but the good news for it... Jeez, that MR2 was rapid. But the good news for the Monaro is it's got a lot of grip. It has a lot of grip in the twisty stuff, so come a twistier circuit, I think there's a hell of a photo finish going on there for 11th and 12th. But yeah. Oh, and the Dino AI has just driven the wrong way down the straight. What tyres are cars on? Not off-road race. Ah, the Dino is on off-road race tyres. Curious. So they will be much smaller than we have. MX-5 definitely not. On to the next one. And hopefully victory, or at least competitive Holden. We are off to the Caldera scramble for our next race, and that is the sight I want to see. This is a track that's likely to be pretty good. Well, my car should be good here. My car is... I'm not going to say completely focused for off-roading, but it is certainly heavily leading towards the off-road event. So if we can't be winning here, we're going to be in trouble. The Dino, I definitely know the Dino is going to be a main competition. It's mid-engine, good for traction, but has much smaller tyres than we do. So I'm hoping sheer tyre size and brute force is going to be the way to go with the Monaro. We saw that that car was good at handling on that previous circuit, and I mean, Caldera circuit is very handling orientated for an off-road track even. So if this isn't good enough for the Monaro, I don't really think anything ever will be. But you never know, there might be some real specialised off-road car here. And there's always the fear, like the Monaro is heavily leaning towards off-road, but it's not complete off-road spec. So yeah, if someone has gone madder on focusing for off-road, there's always the challenge when it comes to an adventure, it comes to a series like this where you've got to build a car for multiple stuff. Yeah, what do you go for? We are the street sweeper on this first lap, clearing the rocks out of the way. It is the Dino that's up in second, as expected, pretty much. We've built a nice gap for the moment. Whether we're going to be able to hold on to this, we will have to wait and see. I don't know, about 340 something horsepower in this car. It's not too bad. It's a good amount of power to drag the car up the hill. And yeah, hopefully we can just stay away from that Ferrari. I do think so. I think Speedbeast had a Renault 8, which in theory could be very good with rear engine, fantastic for traction, but I believe it's on vintage race tyres, so might be good at some other stuff, but for the off-roading, not going to be specialised in that. The Monaro, the advantage of this really is that it's so incredibly easy to drive around this track. Now I say that, and I'm going to miss a checkpoint, knowing my luck. But I imagine the Dino is going to be a bit sketchy. It might be quite fast, but I imagine at times it's going to be a bit on edge. This is rear-wheel drive, and you can put your foot down and it just grips. It's incredible. Dino has got the speed coming up the hill, I'll tell you that much. That is what power to weight ratio will do for you, is the, yeah, Dino can really monster the hill, but it's probably not going to be, it's going to not like this section. This is the bit where we should be very fast through here, because I've just got traction in the car. I've got traction, I've got grip, the Holden turns into the corners nicely, and we will go out the other side, and we can build, yeah, we can just build a gap there, because I can just carry so much more corner speed than that Ferrari. It's a very weird, I mean, I've had this happen before, but it's still always amusing when we have this weird battle of the Ferrari Dino outruns us in a straight line, and we outturn it. It's, yeah, that's tyre widths for you. It is the power of tyre widths in Horizon 5, and to be fair, in a lot of Forza games of late. We are catching up to a back marker. Now, of course, yeah, some cars you might end up building are really not suited to an off-road stuff. Yeah, it's a modern-day Monaro. We are going to go sweep around the outside of it here. It's a little bit sketchy. I do think they're trying to get out of the way. I kind of, yeah, there was a gap. There was a Holden-sized gap, and we took said Holden-sized gap, and it was, yeah, not much more than Holden's width. Dino is still hanging around. We're not really being able to shake Longbow around this circuit, although we have just gone through the Ferrari's favourite section. We now go through my favourite section, and hopefully we can build the gap back up again as we go through the, I guess, kind of a fast chicane at the midpoint, or not quite midpoint around the lap. A couple more corners to go. We're just flat all the way through here. The Dino cannot live with our level of grip there. I am just flat all the way through there, and the Dino's bouncing and sliding around. It was, in the end of it, I say it's straightforward. It was a very easy car to drive quickly around that circuit, but certainly not a straightforward victory. Had to be careful. That Dino was very, we gained our lap time very differently, but the Dino was right there. It was right there. We were a lot quicker than anything else around that track, the pair of us. In fact, because the fact that the Renault's in third and is not on off-road tyres of any sort suggests that me and the Ferrari are the only two that might have gone that way. Unless the Renault's changed. The Renault might have actually changed before we started. We'll have a look on the podium, I guess. But yeah, the Monaro was as good as you would hope, really, when it comes to this. Oh no, I take it back. The Renault is on off-road tyres, but did not have, even that did not have the pace to match me and the Ferrari. We are off to the Emerald Circuit for our next race, a track where we're probably not going to have the best of times, if I'm honest. It's a pretty fast track, this one, and we have not got the top speed. We can't match the Ferrari or the MX-5 for top speed, or potentially the MR2. I don't know what else might go quick. I mean, we've got a lot of grip, which will be nice in a couple of places, and you know, you can make up lap time a bit here in the corners. However, we are going to be just outpaced down the straight, so it could be quite a frustrating race for us, depending on how things shake up. We will do the best we can, though. I will do what I can with the Monaro. It's certainly a decent enough car. Bloody hell, we really are not fast down a straight. The aero does not help. Well, I mean, it helps it in the corners. It makes it phenomenally grippy in places, but it does not help down here. Now we're all pinged out of ghost mode. We are on the outside of a Camaro. It's not quite what we needed, because we would be flat through there. Yeah, I don't think Camaro did not have the grip to quite get through that corner as well. We will pick our way through this mess as best we can. We'll have a little tussle with a Renault. I mean, the Renault has found itself between two big muscle cars. I mean, to be fair, the Monaro is not exactly giant in the grand scheme of muscle cars. 3 wide into the final corner is asking for trouble. I mean, we've got more grip than the tiny Renault at this point. I actually wanted to send that to the inside, but I couldn't do it. We have just not got the straight line speed of a tiny Renault. Bloody hell. I had the feel like an air brake turned on in this car. Renault's going to bounce the wall. Whoop, ends up leaning on us for a bit of stability, but we are now past that. We are now going after a Toyota. We're not going to pass it down the straight, of course. We're going to have to wait. Maybe the braking zone in front of the hotel. Might be on the exit of the hotel section, to be honest with you. If we're going to get a move stuck. Toyota's going to defend. Not the best idea when we can carry this much corner speed. Just sweep. Toyota's not got the grip there. I'm going to hazard a guess. It is on worse quality tyres for some straight line speed. We move ourselves up into 5th. I mean, it's the suspects we expected up at the front, and a 2000 GT that we hadn't really seen too much of. Yeah, we are on our own. I guess we can run clean lap. We can run in clean air, not have to bother attacking or defending. We can see what ultimately the Monaro is capable of. I think we're just going to be too slow down the straight to really work at this circuit. The MR2, maybe he's a bit of a handful. He's dropped off that group. Maybe we could pick up a 4th if we get things perfect in front of the hotel. If we get things perfect into the final corner, we can definitely carry a good chunk of speed there. Actually, had a bit too much speed on the way in, although the MR2 has made a mistake on the exit. Run wide and clipped the wall. That might be all the invitation we need here. Might not be impossible for us to find a way past. The MR2 is struggling a little bit into this final corner. I went for a cut back on the exit, which would work if I had more straight line speed. Unfortunately, we do not. Yeah, wasn't really the way to go. It's going to be a fire the Monaro up the inside. It's, I think, going to be the way we'll make a pass stick. And I have the grip to do it, and I probably have the brakes to do it. Or the MR2 can brush a wall and give us an excellent run down here, but I can't really go anywhere, and the MR2 is going to start gaining on us again because we have run out of straight line speed. Are we too far back to fire it to the inside at the hotel? Probably. It's going to be the final corner. That's where things are going to have to happen, if they're going to happen for us. It's going to be into the final corner. The MR2 is a little bit out of sorts down here. Maybe we can make it work. The MR2 is wary of it. We're going to be from a long way back here. It is to the inside for the Monaro. We're going to lean on it. We're going to squeeze it into the wall. Nah, I'm not going to... Oh, well, I lifted to let it go. I was going to let it go because we kind of forced it into the wall and it also didn't accelerate. Well, I mean, we took 4th technically, but I was going to give the position back. That is the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, not a track at all for my car. Fun race, enjoyable race, but was always likely to be a bad circuit for my car. Sure enough, it kind of behaved as I thought it would. It's off to the Mangrove Scramble for our next race. We are a fair way back, although I spot potentially my main rival, not too far in the distance. Although the Renault just starts on pole. This probably won't be as strong a track for me in comparison to the Caldera circuit. The Dino will enjoy the longer straights here, although there are a couple of nasty corners, and we're gonna have to make a lot of our time up in those corners. We're gonna need to get clear of the traffic as soon as possible if we're gonna stand a chance of hunting down that Ferrari. Because yeah, the difficulty we have, and we've had this in many a battle before, is when you have the more grip-focused car, we can get held up in traffic a lot through these corners, whereas the Dino, for example, won't be losing as much time through the corners, and it doesn't get held up down the straight, for example. Okay, you might sometimes when they're 2 or 3 wide in front of you, but it's a lot rarer to get held up down a straight than it is to get held up in the corners. So yeah, we will be flat through here, and a lot of cars won't be around us because a lot of cars are not on the right tyres. Although there were actually some fairly brave cars going on there. The Toyota is not going to make that pass stick, and this is the problem we get. You see, we are not wanting to be squabbling with the cars that aren't going to be liking this section of track. I don't want to be slowed down by them particularly. So we've got to get clear of as many as we can. Now, we are clear of that group back there. Dino is trying to get clear of everything up here. We will make the most... Well, you see, this is the problem. So we clear the MX-5, but then we get stuck into the Camaro. That is a big old roadblock, essentially, at this point. The MX-5 is going to come flying back down this straight. Don't know whether it will pass us. The MX-5, yeah, it probably is going to pass us. It's going to... Yeah, doesn't matter. Whichever side I go there, it's going to get past, right? But it's probably not going to like this section too much. No, it still carries good speed through there. Won't be enjoying the dirt, but we're all kind of stacked up a little bit here. Me and the Ferrari have got a lot of pace, but we are finding traffic is frustrating. The MR2 is involved. The Camaro has just got the power, essentially, to cause us grief. The MX-5 is going to cause the Ferrari some trouble. We are so slow down the straights, it's horrific. That Camaro very nearly found a tree at that point. Can we... I mean, we can send it through here. We can send it with so much speed, but... it's just the frustration of we could be way quicker through there than we were. However, there was an MX-5 in the way. Oh, and the MX-5 is going to be coming across in front of us at that point. We can at least fire it around the outside. The Camaro ends up in the back of the Dino. We will make the most of that opportunity and get clear. Now, the hope is that maybe we are going to be far enough away as we come down this straight to be out of the range of the power cars. That's the goal here. Otherwise, so I don't actually know what tyres the MR2 is on. I've not really seen it, so I guess that could be on off-road race tyres, or some form of off-roady tyres, maybe. Looks like the rain is going away at least, so that's something. Longbow struggled to pull that up in time there. You can see how much better the handling is on the Monaro. It really closes in, just in the braking zone for that hairpin, and then you see how slow we are in a straight line. But we are clear of everything else back there, so we don't have to worry. We've got that gap that we needed. We can just focus forward on chasing down a Ferrari and an MR2. And this time we can carry as much speed as I like through that corner. But again, you can see the difference. How much all that time we lost down the straight is immediately made up when we got to a corner. We will be flat through here, no problems. I mean, the Monaro is bouncing around a little bit on the bumps, but the Dino will also be flat through that section. Oh, I've turned in too soon. Oh, I've absolutely butchered that. Oh, god damn it. That was the last thing in the world that we needed to do. Because, yeah, we make all of our lap time in the corners, funnily enough, and we screwed up one corner, and it cost us dearly. It might actually cost us a chance at second, because it's put us too far back. I'm going to have to guess that MR2 is on off-road race tyres. I doubt you don't think you could run that fast if you weren't around this track. But yeah, we are just going to be too far back, I think, barring an absolute miracle. Although Longbow, big error into the braking zone there, ends up in the fence and losing a whole bunch of time. We hadn't made that mistake and just put ourselves all out of position for the one part of the lap where we need to be in the right position, because there's one part of the lap where we should be making a whole bunch of time up. Unfortunately, even if we now do get past Longbow there, we're just going to get outrun to the finish line because it is a long straight. Oh, and then I've overdriven it there. We had to, honestly, at that point, the only chance we had was to just carry an awful lot of speed. So if we don't absolutely send it into the corner, we're going to come third anyway. So we might as well have tried it. Unfortunately, it was just a bit too much speed for us there, and I've not quite got this. No, I still not got this section right either. It's going to be a third for us, unless we miss a checkpoint, which would be bad. We are well clear of the rest of the pack. Yeah, bad final lap by me. I mean, it was overdriven, but I don't think it mattered. I think we were going to come third anyway. We had to try something. Didn't quite work in the end, but I'd rather try it. Third place it will be for us. Yeah. Slight lack of straight line speed made it difficult. We definitely had a bit more. I definitely think I could go faster. We could probably get a lap time on par with the Dino. However, it was, yeah, we make our lap time in very specific places, and if something happens for us to not be able to make our lap time there, it's a tough day for us. A fun race nevertheless, but could have and perhaps should have been better for the Holden. But yeah, the MR2 has got to be on off-road race tyres. Indeed it is. So there we go. For our final race, we head to the Bola Ocho circuit. That's what I wanted to see. That's really what I wanted to see. I've got a good handling car. This is a real handling track, and we should stand a good chance with the Monaro. I mean, we saw a little bit the Lookout circuit, how we could out-handle cars when it got to the really twisty parts. The hope is that here will be the same. Here should be the same. Now, the one vulnerability we will have against the MX-5, against the Dino, is if they do get behind us, they will outrun us up the hill. And the easiest place to pass on this circuit is up the hill into the final corner. And the other slight issue we have, if we do start alongside the Renault that launches like crazy because it's so light. Now, I have got much bigger tyres than the Renault. Will we be able to out-handle it? We might have to do this the hard way. I was hoping we were going to be able to run away at the front. However, we might not quite be. See, the one downside we might find is the Renault. Oh, the Renault might be a little difficult to drive. We might have Renault company early on. We will have to wait and see what we can do with the Monaro. We will probably be the easiest of the cars to drive quickly here. We've already pulled a little bit of a margin over that Renault. But I know where we're vulnerable. I know where we might have trouble, and that is into this final corner. We'll be flat through there, no problem. Well, there was some street furniture in the way. We will discourage the Renault from having a look on this first lap. Did not remember about the street furniture behind that checkpoint that likes to screw you over. The Renault's going to have a run. I didn't think it was going to have the speed to have a run into the first corner. It's not got the grip to really live with us here. It's still there, and this is just costing us. It's costing us time. Now, okay, we're in the lead of the race. Why does that matter? Well, the concern I have is more for the Dino than anything. That is the big scare. We've got to get this right. Although potentially the Renault might end up fighting the Dino, and that could also help us in this. Now, there shouldn't be a lamppost behind the checkpoint flag this time. So while we're not great up the hill, at least that bit of street... I love that bit of street furniture doesn't get repaired, but all the other ones do. It's strange. Forza is just strange at this point. It's much better end to the lap, and that's what we need to do. We need to be running like that to make sure that we aren't vulnerable at the, well, turn one. Basically, anytime there is even the slightest straight, we've got to make sure we are out of range of the likes of the Renault, the likes of the Dino, and so on. I'm going to guess the MX-5 might be struggling a little bit on the handling front here, being a very handling-based circuit. It might not quite have the grip. It might also have a bad spot on the grid, I think, which won't help. This is a horribly difficult track to overtake on. There's a couple of overtaking spots, but they're always ish overtaking spots. It's very, very difficult track to pass on. So yeah, if you get buried in the pack, it can be quite difficult, even if you've got a quick car, to climb your way up through the field. We're not really extending. We've got a bit of a gap back to the Renault, and it's kind of holding currently. All the off-road race tyre cars are in a line here from us back to that MR2. Yeah, first to fourth, all the off-road race tyre vehicles. I guess no one's gone for any grippier compound of tyre. That Renault got full airtime, I think, through there. Carefully does it. But I'm kind of surprised, actually. I'm kind of surprised that no one's gone for... I personally am a fan of going for... if you watch my videos, you will know I do like going for the grippy tyre in B-Class. And you can make it work. You'll be down on power, sure, but you'll be so fast in the corners. But the fact that, yeah, we have got basically the best handling car here and we're in off-road race tyres very much suggests that nobody has gone for a rally tyre or a semi-slick. I have made semi-slicks work, don't always. I mean, it would work wonders around here. But, yeah, no one's gone that route in this session. And that's there's always the challenge when it comes to building a car, because you never know what people are going to go for. Off-road race is a safe bet when you're doing the multi-surface stuff. But yeah, there's normally someone braves a grippy tyre one way or another, but doesn't seem to be the case here. It looks like Lombo Speed Beast has dropped out of the podium spots on this, the final lap, but nothing had an answer to the Monaro here at all. This was just too fast at the technical street circuit. We had to fight. We had to fight for it against the Renault. That thing gave us a run for our money early on, but it just couldn't live with the pace of the Monaro. And I think it's the ease at which the Monaro can get that pace as well that makes the big difference. The Dino crosses the line in second. The MR2 gets on the podium. Oh, and we can breathe. Yeah, I mean, lap time-wise, pretty close between those. I think we had enough at the end of that. We made the time up early on. That was the important bit, and yeah, we're just able to stay out in front without really coming under huge threat. Monaro, pretty damn good, gotta say. It's, as I said, it's entertaining that against all these small lightweight cars we had the best handling car being an Australian muscle car. And it is lightish for a muscle car, but still. And there we go. Always entertaining. Yeah, I like this car. Strong B-class car, strong all-rounder. Does lack a bit of straight line speed though. It is much more of a handling based machine. Does not work at the bigger circuits. I mean, it's still quick, but it just gets outclassed by quite a few vehicles essentially when we go to the bigger tracks. But there we go. That is going to be it for this video. If you would like to sign up to take part in the next one of these, you can via our Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Versus the Community sign up section and you can register to take part in there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.